Welcome, everybody, to another round of Roseburg Speakers and Storytellers, and welcome to August. If you don't want to participate in table topics, please reach out to Michelle. Otherwise, she most likely will call on you if you don't have a role. So at this point, let me turn this meeting over to our lovely and talented president, Miss Yasmin.
Thank you very much, Tiger, for welcoming and opening. And I see the lovely and colorful faces around. I invite people who have not yet switched on their video to please do so, because it's just a different feeling to see each other, feel each other, and it just makes it more enjoyable and expressive. This is your very own club, the Roseburg Speakers and Storytellers. So RSS family, as you know, we meet every Monday, and this is the brightest way we start our week through our meeting at RSS. So I welcome you all. I welcome all the members and all the guests. I see that most of the guests are our sort of repeated guests, and it always gives us pleasure to welcome you. Is there any guest who is joining us for the first time? If so, could please raise the hand? Okay. Joy, welcome, Joy. Joy, would you like to just introduce yourself in very briefly as to how you know about us? Would you like to introduce yourself to our members and RSS family? Nice to see you, Joy.
Nice to see you. Yeah, I know this club from my the fellow members of my club. Yeah, I like your smile very much, and I think the atmosphere is very free and very warm. So I want to join and experience this meeting. Very happy.
So are we, Joy, and as your name says, you are very joyful, and we are very happy to have you here. Welcome. Is there any other guest who is joining us for the first time? Okay, seeing none, I'm just gonna get into the meeting and starting the journey, and will like to invite one of the Toastmaster RSS member who is very sorted, but yet very confused, who is smart, yet dumb, who is trying to learn, yet slowly. So yes, please join me in welcoming the Toastmaster of the day, Yasmin Telwala. And here it is. I'm here to welcome you all and make you all explore and learn together some new skills. So today's meeting theme is new skills. We are here because we want to work on our skills, don't we? Yes, we do. Yes. But today, before I start the meeting, I would like to make you hear the thought and the idea behind Toastmasters from the person who himself made this come true. So I'm just gonna share my screen very quickly. Hope you guys can see my screen, and I would just
believed in the sound pedagogical principles of learning by doing and improving through helpful suggestions or constructive criticism, as I preferred to call it. Businessmen, professional men, laboring men, men of a variety of occupations came into the club, and they were surprised by the results which they achieved through following our simple process of practice and criticism. We were strictly an educational group. We avoided the atmosphere of the classroom, and we learned in moments of enjoyment.
You heard the founder, Ralph Smedley himself, and he said that he wants to avoid this as a classroom story, but the idea was learning through enjoyment. So let's spice up a little bit our meeting today as we learn the new theme. I promise that towards the end of the meeting, there is at least 1, 2, or maybe 3 skills that you would have had acquired. I'll try my best at least. And to begin with, I would now like to know if we have any tongue twister expert in our meeting. Do we have a tongue twister expert in our meeting? Ah, Michelle, I knew. So we have at least 1 tongue twister amongst us. Michelle, would you like to give us 1 tongue twister, please?
Sure. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? I'm still
Woo!
happy.
Peter Piper picked a pickled pepper, and Peter Piper wonder where the pickled pepper is. That's nice. Let's try an easier one. So I have pasted 1 tongue twister. Let's read it together. And then we all gonna say, unmute ourselves and say it out loud. I pasted it in the message. I hope you all have seen. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream.
Ice cream, you scream.
We all scream for ice cream. So
For ice cream.
now we go together. At the count of 3, just unmute yourself and go out loud. 1, 2, 3, unmute yourself. Ice cream.
Ice cream,
Ice
you
cream,
scream,
we
we
all
all
scream.
scream for
We
ice
all
cream.
scream for ice cream.
One more time. Ice cream, you scream.
We all scream for ice cream.
Woo! So
Ice
we
cream,
have
you scream, we all scream for ice cream.
ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. Here we go. And now let's get into more fun. To begin with, we all know that we have 3 sessions for Toastmasters, and I have a couple of role players to take this meeting because the Toastmasters meeting is also structured. We have prepared speeches, we have table topics, and we have towards the end the feedback session. I would like to invite the supporting role players to come and introduce themselves. And I see Deja on the screen. First, to begin with, I would like to invite the timer to come on the screen and present her role. But before she does that, she will have to give the tongue twister to us again, which she read already. So you are not allowed to read it again, Deja, but would you mind to go with the tongue twister we had practiced?
Ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream.
Yeah, here you go, Deja. So Deja, please go ahead and give us your role.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. My name is Deja. I will be the timer for today. I will be timing everybody's portions of the meeting. I will be timing the speakers, the evaluation, and the speakers and the evaluations. I will be changing the background to yellow when you are close to your end of time, red or green green when you have met your time, yellow when you're close to meeting your maximum time, and red when you have exceeded your maximum time. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Deja. The visuals helped us a lot. So moving next, I have to invite someone very special who agreed to be the grammarian towards last moment, and that's none other than Stephen. And Stephen, are you here with us?
Thank
And
you.
is your internet okay now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe it's working very well, but I think you can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you, Stephen.
So
Stephen.
yeah, I closed my camera. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Before we
Thank you
start,
for the opportunity. Yeah, go ahead, Yasmin.
yeah, before we start, Steven, there is something you have to convince me that you can do, and that's your tongue twister. 6 sticky skeletons. 3 times. 6 sticky skeletons.
Oh, so a new one? Sorry, I thought it was the same one.
New
Can
one
you
for
see
you.
that again?
6 sticky skeletons.
6 stickies. Sorry, I didn't get it.
It's in the message. 6 sticky skeletons.
Oh, 6 sticky skeletons.
3 times.
6 sticky skeletons. 6 sticky skeletons.
Thank you very
Oh, my
much.
tongue
That
twisted.
was nice, Steven. That was very nice.
Thank
Yes,
you.
please go ahead and explain your rule and give us the word for the day.
Thank you, Yasmin, for the opportunity to be the grammarian for tonight or for today. As a grammarian, so first of all, I would like to introduce the word of tonight, which is massive. So massive means a lot of. So he has massive skills of cooking. So this is an example. So I hope you guys will use this word as much as you can in your speech or table topic session. As a grammarian, I will pay attention to the good usage when you deliver your speech and some bad usages or bad pronunciations. And I will pay attention to who will use the word of the day most. And at the end of the meeting, I will deliver a report regarding above. Thank you. Back to Yasmin.
Thank you very much, Steven. And everyone, please try to use the word of the day massive as many times as you can, like your tongue twisters. Moving on, I would like to invite our counter, who is again a very kind person who has agreed to take up the role at the last moment. It's Minnie, who's here with us. Minnie, before you go,
Yes.
6 sticky skeletons. 3 times, please.
Okay. 6 sticking skeletons. 6 sticking skeletons. 6 sticking skeletons.
Oh, wow, that's nice, Minnie. It was fun. You did a great job. Minnie, please come and
Thank
explain
you.
your role.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good morning and good evening. My name is Minnie. I am from Dongguan English Toastmaster Club in China. I'm glad to take this role for tonight, and my main responsibility is to pay attention to the R language you use. I will count how many R language you use. R language are useless words like R, and. So like these kinds of words. After meeting, I will deliver a report based on what I observed. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very
Hello.
much. Yeah, thank you very much, Minnie. Moving on, we are gonna get into the first section of our RSS meeting, which is the prepared speeches section. I'm very glad that we have 2 very efficient and leading speakers amongst us today. I'm sure that you're all gonna enjoy their speeches. Our first speaker is gonna be Sarah, and Sarah will be evaluated by Christina. Sarah, would you please help me with the title of your speech?
La fête de la musique.
De la fête de la musique. It looks like a tongue twister itself. So all who do not know Sarah, she is one of the most loveliest RSS member. She is with RSS for more than 3 or 4 years already. She holds leadership positions at her club level as well as at the area level. So she's the area director for District 7. And there is another skill that you are just gonna discover that Sarah has. Sarah, are you a tongue twister? Are you good?
No.
Are you sure you are not? Okay,
Yes.
here it is, Sarah. Let's us see if you are or you're not. Ed had edited it 3 times.
Ed had edited it. Ed had edited it. Ed had edited it.
Wow. And you want us to believe that you are not a tongue twister? Not happening. So with this, let's, ladies and gentlemen, invite Sarah for her speech. La fête de faire, la fête de musique. So it's to you, Sarah.
Does anybody here doesn't like music? Can you please raise your hand? Anybody? Any kind of music, any kind of instrument, just music. Is there anyone? I don't think so, right? Exactly. That was the same conclusion that moved the Minister of Culture of France, Mr. Jacques Lang, to create a day of music. A 1 day long of celebration and music everywhere. And today, dear Toastmasters and most welcome guests, I will tell you the story of how I came to know more about this big celebration and why I think it's so important for us. Some years ago, I was in France, in the small city called Montpellier in South France, in the Mediterranean coast, for a holiday vacation, for a language vacation, I want to say. I was there to learn French for 2 weeks, without knowing that one of those days was a big celebration taking place, La Fête de la Musique. This celebration, which is also called the Day of Music, the World Music Day in English, started in France 40 years ago. The first time that it was celebrated was on the 21st of June, 1982 in Paris. The Minister of Culture decided to celebrate it in this day because it is the beginning of summer. It is the solstice of summer, and it is the day in the year with the longest daylight in the shortest night. From that moment on, this music day has become so popular, so a big phenomenon around the world that now it is celebrated in more than 700 cities and more than 130 countries around the world. Back in that days in Montpellier, in summer, the preparation started in the morning. Many volunteers were transforming the streets in big stages, massive scenarios for the musicians to play there in the evening. Some other volunteers were distributing some flyers where you could see the program and choose which concerts were interesting for you. In this way, you could have all the genders of music represented, and you could choose which one you wanted to see. You could jump just from one corner to the other without missing any highlights of the music. For sure, with street music, you can also have some street food, drinks, so that all the city became a big celebration. The other important thing about this celebration is that the musicians that play there are not able to charge anything for their time. And for the public, it also has to be for free so that everyone can really enjoy this music. It is also kind of a tongue twister because in French, those musicians play under the slogan Fais de la musique, which means in English, make music. And it is the homophone of Fête de la Musique, which means music festival or music fest. As you see, this celebration is not only music, it has some significance behind. Last year in Berlin, this festival was celebrated in a very small scala, not as normally it is, not like in this massive celebration because of the corona pandemic. But the good thing was that in some corners you could hear some piano or some other instrument playing. And I think it is very surprising the power of music to make you feel better, even in hard times. This year, it was completely different. There was a massive celebration. Big scenarios were built in many points of the city and hundreds of people were there. For me, nowadays, this Fête de la Musique or World Music Day, it is more than just a music festival. It is a reminder that no matter which background we have or which culture, there is something that we have in common. And this something is music. Back to you, Jasmine.
Wow. What a speech, Sarah. There is something which is in common amongst us, and that's music. And let the sound of the music continue with our second speaker. The second speaker for the day is yet another very lovely, exciting, and very curious and keen lady, Yalan, who also holds leadership position in her club. She has been with us for, I think she identifies herself as a senior guest of RSS, but we call her as a part of RSS family. And as I introduce Yalan, I would also like to welcome all the guests who have had just joined in. I see we have many guests joining in. We are very glad that you make to our meeting, and I would strongly encourage to please switch on your videos if you can, because it is always nice to see you, to feel, and so that we can express together and learn together. So for the second speaker, Yalan, her speech will be evaluated by Amy. And the title of Yalan's speech is Mr. S. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Yalan for her speech titled Mr. S.
Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to fellow Toastmasters and guests. This is a speech actually coming from a mini speech I did yesterday at my club. So here we go. Have you ever thought of how much your signature is worth to you? Anybody? Okay, no takers? Another question. How much are you willing to bet on a family member, a dear friend, a mentor, or even those who you owe a big debt to? Well, mine, I did the calculation. Mine was worth 1 million RMB. That's the currency here. When I did the math, it was about 160,000 US dollars. It doesn't sound that much when you convert that into US dollars, but it did sound a lot when I said 1 million. So Mr. S is the shining star in my story. He was the person who introduced me to this great opportunity to study abroad in the US. Hence, I became the person I am standing before you. I had my abilities to speak better English. I got to make a lot of friends in the US and here throughout the program. He had my utmost respect and admiration because he has made me the person I am today. Mr. Ed stands for Superman. 2 years ago, during the pandemic, I got a phone call from Mr. S. We had a very nice conversation. He asked me how I was doing, blah, 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 all that. And then he slowly got into the title of his phone call. He said, "How are you doing?" And he gave me this sobbing story of how his partner was leaving him and left him with nothing but a company. And he was stuck in Canada because he couldn't come back here in China due to the pandemic. And then he gave me a question. Would you be interested in taking over the company? Wow. I never thought of taking over someone's company, not to mention, the other partner is already gone in Canada. I told him, well, let me think about it. I went home, talked to my husband and family. They said, do you trust this person? I thought a little bit and I said, yeah, I did trust him. Because during the phone call, he said that he was going to give me the most support that he could to help me and make this company, turn this company around. And I thought to myself, why not give it a shot? Because it's the pandemic. We're all stuck somewhere. My business was okay, but it wasn't going to be good. So I said to him, well, I'm going to sign this contract. And there is an underlying assumption that I'm working with you. And he said, yeah, sure, fine. I'm okay. I'm here, but I'm here in Canada. I won't be back in China. Just keep that in mind. I signed that contract with a little bit of hesitation because it was a very big amount of money, but I signed it. I told him solely based on my trust for him. When I had the company, a few days later, I made a phone call to Mr. S. Hey, I signed the contract. How are you doing? Do you know what he said to me? He said, good. It's all yours. I want no part of it. I can't go back to China and I won't be back for a while. It's all yours. Are you kidding me? That's a lot of debt that I'm putting on my shoulders. And I'm putting all that because I trusted you. And you gave me your word that you're going to help me. Well, there's something called life. And that, well, I'm not going to use those words that I use over the phone call because a lot of tensions were exchanged. So I gathered my thoughts and I told him, thank you so much for putting me in this situation. I didn't want to pick up any phone calls because I was afraid that they're the debt collectors trying to ask me for money. I have not want to set up foot in my company because it was a constant reminder of how stupid I was for trusting you. I want to thank you for teaching me a lesson for not trust anybody, even though I really admire them. Had I known everything that had happened, now 2 years later, would I still sign the contract? I guess I would. Because signing that contract and taking over that company, I learned how to turn a company around. When I met the break-even point, I was thrilled. And I cried for like an hour. And I said to myself, congratulations, you made it. And forget about this Mr. S. He's someone that's gonna be there and trying to knock you down. But you turn out okay. So here's something I want to say to Mr. S. Thank you so much for being this devious, calculative, for being this a-hole person. I can't say that. But after knowing all that, I met Toastmaster during my downtime. And I've met these wonderful people who has always brought me energy and positive thinking. So Mr. S, thank you. And no, thank you. I'm doing okay. Back to you, madam.
Thank you, Yalan. Thank you very much for making all of us realize that we have a Mr. S in our life. And it's important that we just say, Mr. S, okay, bye-bye, and thank you for whatever you are giving me. We did it, and we are gonna do it. So thank you for that wonderful speech, Yalan. Ladies and gentlemen, are you excited about the next session? If you are not, you have to be, because this is one of the most interesting session of Toastmasters, where we just get to speak impromptu, and it's the beauty of it is that everyone can participate as long as the time permits, and it becomes much more fun. Trust me, if you have a table topic master like we have today, yes, you will know after the table topic session why am I saying this, and I will let you all discover it yourself. I will be short of words to describe the table topic master of today, which is Michelle, because her qualities are too many. But the one I want to highlight here is, yes, we already know she's an expert tongue twister. But yeah, I'm not going to.
You've muted yourself. Yasmin, you've muted yourself.
Okay, sorry. So, Michelle, this is the challenge for you. I know it's not going to be that difficult, but yeah, still I want to hear it from you. Truly rural. 3 times.
What was that? Truly
rural.
Okay. Truly rural. Oh, that's a hard one. Truly rural, truly rural, truly rural. And I was taking it for granted, but the first time I tried it. Okay. So am I on?
Please, yes,
Wonderful.
please, take it over.
I believe that we have several guests, but all of you are Toastmasters. If you are not a Toastmaster, please raise your hand so I can briefly explain what table topics and why we have table topics. Okay, looks like if you're raising your hand, but your video is off, I cannot see your hand unless you raise it electronically. Just very quickly, so I don't assume, table topics is actually impromptu speaking, as Yasmin mentioned. You will be speaking for 1 to 2 minutes. So the timer will show a green, her green background at 1 minute, yellow background at 1.5 minutes, and red at 2 minutes. And of course, with all other speaking opportunities with Toastmasters, you will have 30 seconds to wrap up if you see the red light. But it's always a skill to try to be wrapping up within the time without having to use the extension. So if you see the green light or the green symbol or background, you're okay. Now, our theme for today is new skills, and our grammarian, where is he? I believe he said massive. So I looked up massive in Merriam-Webster. It's on the chat. Massive is huge or very heavy, or I was going to say massive is massive. It's very large. It's very big. It's enormous, humongous. That's massive. And so when you respond, if you're called for table topics, do your best to use massive at least once if you can, or more than once. Okay, I have also seen some people who have very nicely said, please, I would like to try. And that's great because I was going to ask for volunteers. And I see that we have to pronounce it Elias, Elias Tiok.
Iti.
Tongue
You can just call
twister.
me. You can just call me Iti. Iti.
Okay,
Iti is
thank you. That will be a much better one. So E.T.,
Yes.
you volunteered. So here's your question. Tell us, and if you can do it in a story form, if you can, because we are Roseburg speakers and storytellers, but that's okay. That's just an additional challenge. You don't have to tell it as a story if you can't think of how to do it as a story. Anyway, tell us about a new skill that you had to learn very quickly. Tell us about a new skill that you had to learn very quickly. It can be on the job or at your community, whatever, but tell us about a new skill that you had to learn very quickly. And remember, strive to use the word of the day, massive. Over to you, Edie.
Once upon a time, there was a guy named E.T. He just an irregular guy. But this guy definitely wants to learn something new to improve his skills. So this guy is looking up for his mentor. What is one criteria that can make him better? So he look up into the resources that the mentor give him. It is a very massive influence from his mentor. It was a very massive resources that his mentor gave it to him. And he learned it a lot. From step 1, step 2, step 3, another steps by step into the higher level to get these skills into a real, not only knowledge, but apply it into his life. And this guy done that in his job. This guy is very good in networking. This guy is very good in communication. This guy is very good in leadership. And it doesn't mean that he stops running. He doesn't stop running. He keeps running 1, 2, 3, step by step. 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, and to be 1 step ahead from himself, to become the massive version of himself, to become the massive person in his life, to change the world, to change his family, to change his world by his words. Back to you, TM Michelle. That's the story of little E.T. to become the massive E.T.
Wow. That's going to be a tough act to follow. So don't worry. The next person I call, just that, like I said, that was an amazing response. Thank you so much, E.T. Now, I had another person who volunteered. I think it was Joy. I can't find Joy right now. Is Joy still on?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Michelle, I also
Drop
see
off.
Charles, Yusuf, and Steven have their hands raised.
Okay.
People have their
Okay.
hands raised.
So let's, because I can't find Joy right now, let's have Charles. So Charles, welcome to the Table Topics podium. And your question, and remember, try and use massive if you can, at least once. Tell us about a skill that you tried to learn but failed. Tell us about a skill that you tried to learn but failed. Over to you, Charles.
Okay, thank you, Michelle, for your question. I'm not sure if we can call that a skill or not. A new language kind of skill. And what I'm going to share is not a new language. It's actually it's a dialect. You know, in China, there are a lot of different dialect, 方言, right? Is the word I use correct? I've been in the city where I live for almost 20 years. And here people speak Cantonese instead of Mandarin, what I speak. And I tried to learn speak. No, I didn't try to learn speak. I tried to learn how to listen, understand Cantonese. But so far, I still cannot understand. What a shame. As a person live in a city for almost 20 years, still cannot understand the local language. How is that possible? And you know why I want to learn the language, the dialect? Because I know this language, not only language, there's some culture behind the language. I still remember one time I watched a movie which is in Cantonese. In some I don't know scenario, audience laughed. But when I read the subtitle, I totally have no idea why they laughed, what they are laughed at. Because you know there's some funny story or whatever. You cannot translate exactly to get the point. So that is the reason I want to learn, but I still cannot understand. And I put it into my New Year resolution, but I did nothing. So I think that's the reason. So my conclusion is, if you want to learn something, if you want to gain a new skill, don't just put it in the list, a New Year resolution, do something. Otherwise, you will just like me. Okay, back to you, Michelle.
What a wonderful and inspiring response. Thank you so much for sharing, Charles. And your response actually leads me to the next question I wanted to ask from, let me see, I think it's Yusuf. Yes, Yusuf. The question is, what new skill do you want to learn and why? Why? Because Charles told us a new skill that he failed to learn and why he wanted to learn it. So my next question is actually, what new skill do you want to learn and why do you want to learn it? Over to you, Yusuf.
Thank you very much for the nice question, dear Michelle. Well, to tell you the truth, that I have been a chef for quite some time. I learned to cook Swiss food or Western food. And I've been practicing it almost half of my life in hotel business. One thing that I miss, I didn't learn to bake and decorate the cake. That is another skill, another thing challenged me. I have to do it. Even though I'm now much older, but it is still fresh in my mind. I can see my friends can decorate the cake beautifully. They can make wedding cake, birthday cakes, whatever cake you make. And I told myself, I have to learn to make the cake decoration. It's still a challenge for me. I try to make it alone at home, but it's all in a totally massive destroyed cake. I was trying to make a beautiful birthday cake for my wife, and my wife said, "What? Is it a volcano just blown up?" I said, "Oh my God." It put me into a shame things. I said, I am going to learn. I will learn now. I will learn. And I'm trying to find a course that can teach me how to decorate a beautiful birthday cake. So one day I will prove it to my wife. Here it is, a beautiful birthday cake for you, darling. And I believe that she would be terrified. Thank you very much. Back to you, Titi and Michelle.
Wow, amazing table topics responses. Now I'm fully awake listening to your responses. Thank you so much, Yusuf. And we have Steve. Yes, I think Stephen. So Stephen, you're up next.
Michelle.
Let me see what would be a good question for Stephen. Okay, this one, Let me see. I think you can rise to this challenge, Stephen. So there is a saying, you cannot teach an old dog new tricks or new skills. What do you think about this saying? Do you agree or disagree? And whichever, if you agree, tell us why. Give us an example or a story why you disagree with this. Or if you agree with it, tell us the story or tell us why you disagree with it. Over to you, Stephen.
Thank you, Michelle. In my opinion, so I always believe that people should be in this growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. So I always believe even old people or like old dog, you can still teach them some new tricks. I have lots of, I have one of my uncle, he's 70 years old. He just started to learn how to use the smartphone. At the very beginning, it is very challenging for him because he doesn't know how to play with it. But he was eager to learn. So he reached out to me and say, hey, Stephen, can you help me how to play with this smartphone? Of course, because I was very close to him. And so I started to teaching him. It was very painful progress because, you know, he's old, his eyesight is bad, and he doesn't know, he doesn't read lots of stuff. So it's very painful. But I was very patient with him, teaching him again and again. He already felt very sorry about it. You know, I taught him again and again. He apologized to me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm, you know, an old man, right? So I became forgetful. But finally, he learned it, how to use it with his continuous practice. So my takeaway on this is you can teach all the dogs some new tricks. So back to Michelle, that's my story.
Yes, thank you very much. And yes, technology, not just for people who are 70 or up, but even younger people. Technology can be such a challenge and it moves so fast. Great response, Stephen. And I see that we have one of our regular, well, guests right now, but also a member in the past and always a member at heart. I see Kunang is here. Kunang, would you like to answer a table topics question? If so, please unmute yourself. Okay, are you unmuting yourself? There you are. So Kunang, here's a question which I'm sure you will enjoy answering. Tell us about a skill that you learned from being a Toastmaster. Tell us about a skill that you learned from being a Toastmaster. Over to you, Kunang. And the word of the day is massive, if you can use it.
Okay, thank you. Toastmasters today, Michelle, and hi everybody. I'm Kunang from Cambodia. What the skill that I'm learning from Toastmaster is that communication and leadership skill. In here, I am learning about the different cultures with the people from all over the world, and especially the way that communicate. And what I am learning from the people, especially from the native English speakers, and
Okay, is it just me or can
Yeah, we have lost Kunang. She's frozen on the screen, Michelle. She's
Yeah.
internet issue.
Okay, so if she comes back and we have time, I will give her an opportunity. In the meantime, I think we have time for one last response, and this one is going to be, I don't have any more hands up. Let me see. I see HP Samantha. Are you a Toastmaster, HP Samantha? If so, please unmute yourself. There you are. And it would be nice if you could show your video as well. Like Yasmin said, having the video is so much better. Okay, there we are. So Samantha, your question is, and try to use the word of the day if you can. The word of the day is massive. Your question is, tell us about a skill that you had to learn the hard way, or a skill that it was very hard for you to learn, or it was maybe you didn't even plan to learn it, but you learned a skill the hard way. I'm thinking of Yalan, for example. I think she learned to be less trusting after what happened. But Samantha, tell us about the skill you learned the hard way. Over to you.
The hard way, the skill, right? I think for me it's so hard for me to communication. I was so shy when I was young, and I know this is not a good thing, and I wanted to push myself to be more outgoing. And when I just graduate from school, I think I would need to have a change. So I go out to join some activity. But this, a shining girl is not easy to talk to other face to face or join the activity. So exciting. So I will call some friends to go with me together, and then I have no skill. I can't go that. Yeah. But now I think I'm more outgoing than before. And I joined to Toastmaster. I want to make me out my spoken English more influence. I learn English just by myself, but I have no improve. So I think I need to change another way. Yeah. So I will join some different meeting, or also will do some prepared speech in the offline activity. And I hope in the next year I can speak more fluently. Yeah, I think this will be the hard work for me. That's all. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much, Samantha. And I see Kunang is back. Kunang, you dropped out. You have a minute if you want to complete your response. Please unmute yourself.
What the skill that I've been learning from Toastmaster is that communication and cross culture, and especially leadership skill. I am building my self-confidence by learning from the people from all over the world. When I watch some friends, they're speaking, I also learning with their body language and facial expression and how they are confident. So I'm trying to build my self-confidence too, because I want to be a woman who valuable for myself, for my family, and also for my community. And I am strongly believe in education, so that's why I try so hard to get myself to get self-education. So thank you. Back to you, Michelle.
Thank you very much, Kunang, for coming back despite your technical glitch. And now I'm looking at the time. I was enjoying myself so much hearing all the fabulous responses. Thank you, everyone. At this point, though, I think it's time to hand control back to our Toastmaster of the day. Let's welcome back none other than our president, Yasmin.
Thank you very much, Table Topic Master, for such wonderful questions. And this is so much true that through table topics, we get to know so much more about ourselves, right? And this is a session where we learn so much more about each of you. So this is also a beauty of storytelling. When we are telling story, we are making others listen to us in an interesting way, but at the same time, it gives the audience opportunity to know more you. And on the rhyme of you, I have a you who is going to be our general evaluator for today. As you all know, that Ayu is our immediate past president of RSS. She is one of the members who is on the top of almost everything, which makes me surprised that she is relatively speaking new to RSS, to Toastmasters in total, I think a year or maybe 2 years Ayu, but her knowledge of Toastmaster is really impressive. And there is another thing that you all don't know, that she's a wonderful tongue twister. And she's just gonna say truly rural 3 times in 30 seconds.
Truly rural, and truly rural.
So there is a competition for Michelle, yeah? To you, Ayu, to take over as the general evaluator, please.
Thank you, Yasmin. And hello, everyone. We are at the end of the session in every Toastmaster meeting, the meat. If there is a bunch and a bunch, in the middle is the meat, the most delicious one. So let's just get started. We are going to listen to Christina, our first evaluator, who will be evaluating our first speaker, Sarah. Christina, the screen is yours.
Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. It's my pleasure to evaluate Sarah's speech today. And the first thing that I noticed was Sarah's very clearly an experienced speaker. She has a lovely smile and she really quickly put us at ease. She started with a question. Is there anyone who doesn't like music? And some form of music. She engaged us, unsurprisingly. Nobody answered. Everybody seemed to love music. I was intrigued by the title. Sarah provided us with lots of information in a really structured way. She clarified that the Minister of Culture in France arranged a one-day-long massive celebration of music everywhere. It started in France 40 years ago, and she even mentioned the date. It's a date that's easy to remember because it's the solstice, the beginning of summer, the longest day and the shortest night. It started in Paris and became this massive phenomenon around the world. What's not to like? It included all genres of music, so there's something that we can all relate to there. So I really loved the structure and how Sarah enthused about it. She added in some personal stories as well, which I thought were very relatable. She talked about, she was introduced to this in Montpellier on I think how you can learn French in 2 weeks, I'm not quite sure, but I'm sure you can improve it a lot in that time. And how she celebrated more recently the idea in Berlin. So it's clearly got a very international audience. So what could Sarah do differently to make this even better? Well, one of the things that I noticed is that some of Sarah's hand gestures were really good and were really clear, but there were others that didn't quite make it onto the screen. So maybe if Sarah stood back a little bit, we'd like to see all of those gestures because they added impact and they're actually something that we can learn from. The other thing that I noticed was I felt that the ending was a little bit abrupt. I'm not quite sure how that tied into the timing. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But I'd have liked a couple more sentences before that finale of music, something we've all got in common, just to lead us up to the fact that it was coming to a climax there. But what I most loved about Sarah's speech was her friendly, colloquial style. She enthused about a subject that we could all relate to, and it came across really beautifully. Well done, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. You know, sometimes when Christina spoke, her evaluation was nice, but I get distracted with something else, Christina. You always have color coordination things. You know, like today she wear green and then she also wear a green necklace. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm rambling around. Well, one thing that I like about Christina is the way Christina said this is not something to improve, but what Sarah can do differently. So this is another way to say something to improve. And I also love the way Christina's speaking using the third person perspective. And during the speech evaluation, always mention the Sarah name. That is really catchy. Thank you, Christina. Next, our second evaluator is Amy. Hello, Amy. We'll be evaluating Yalan. Over to you, Amy.
Thank you, Ayu. I have the pleasure of evaluating Yalan and her speech today. And this really is a real life hero's journey. I think as everyone was taken on this gripping story of how Yalan had been offered this magical gift. Oh, it sounded wonderful, and we're all hoping and wishing, and oh, this is amazing. And then to hear the twist and the struggle, and then the result at the end. This is a really powerful story. When I spoke with, I asked Yalan, is there anything she would like me to look out for? And she said to see about her eye contact and engaging with the audience. And I have to say, I found this to be perfect, really, really good. Where I'll come in with my commendation is the beginning of the story. I felt there was a bit of a, at the very beginning, we had a little caveat, and I don't think that was necessary. It was such a powerful story, just go with it. You know, we didn't need to hear the little pre-caveat. And then there was a couple of questions. The first question didn't go, then the second question we got, that's great, that's straight in there with your audience engagement. But that just my commendation around the speech would be just to watch that beginning bit, because it was a bit, and with that as well, then I felt that Alien appeared a little lost. Once the story was flowing and once we were in there and we were hearing it, the power of Alien's body language and facial expressions. There was a moment where she said a little bit of a hesitation, and bringing in that body language really captivated people. And there was another bit with a facial reaction when you heard the bad news and you said, "Are you kidding me?" And you could just see it, you know, the story was being told through other levels than just the words coming out of your mouth and coming out of Alien's mouth. And this was very powerful. I also noticed there was bits of humor brought into the story that is quite like a challenging story. So that I commend you on that as well. Overall, this was a really, really fascinating, really powerful hero's journey, and I fully commend you, Alien. Well done. This is a serious feat and a story that's worth sharing. And I hope to hear it again. Just remember the commendation is clearing a bit up at the end, and then everything else, body language, eye contact, facial expressions are all fantastic. Thank you. Back to you, Toast evaluator.
Thank you, Amy. Can you imagine? I never be able to mimic Amy. The way she said, so maybe a little soft, maybe a little slow, but she has vocal variety. Wow, thank you, Amy. And guess what? For those who doesn't know Amy at the beginning, a lot of filler words. Today, no filler words. Yay! Good job, Amy. I also like your hand gesture and your choice of word. You use that magical. I really love that words. Thank you, Amy. And now we are moving to the other evaluation team, which is our grammarian. Please welcome Stephen Chui.
Yeah, thank you. So first of all, yeah, I learned a lot of new words tonight. Let's start with the word of tonight, massive. So the king goes to ET. He used 5 times. Wow, amazing. So, and then Sarah used twice. Yusuf used 1 time. Christina used twice. So a big applause to all of you. Yeah, great job. Regarding the good usages and what I heard from Sarah's speech at the ending of the story, no matter what our background is, there's something in common with us. The music is powerful. I love it. And also from Amy, this is first time I know this phrase like gripping story. So later I will know how to use this one. Other than that, I think, yeah, that's it. That's my report. Thank you. Back to Ayu.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you very much. Wow. You are very helpful today. Thank you. Next, we are going to our counter, and today our counter is Minnie. Hello, Minnie.
Yes, hello, Michelle. Yeah, I'm here. You guys are so wonderful and acted is so amazing. I was totally attracted by you guys, by your speeches. I heard so massive information from you guys, but I just heard a little bit our counter, our language. I found you guys control the speed very well. I think this is the one of secret. That's why I just heard a little bit our language today. And here is the report that I hear our language based on your speeches. The first is ET. ET have 3 times. Stephen 5, Samantha 10, Ham 1, Michelle 1, and Amy is 3. But you actually this is the first time for me. I just heard so little bit our language, so I need to learn from you guys and how to control the speed when speaking. Thank you. Back to Michelle.
Thank you, Minnie. Thank you very much for your report. Something different, and that's good. Very creative. Thank you. And then now we are going to our timer, Deja. Deja, you're still muted.
Thank you, Madam Evaluator. I am pleased to report that no one was massively over time. I will be posting the times to the chat so that you can view them at your leisure. We all did very well today. I want to give a massive thank you to our Toastmaster of the day and her theme of skills. I am definitely developing my skill as a timer. I think it is one of my weaker roles that I play. So thank you very much. I will pass it back to you, Madam Evaluator.
Thank you, Deja. Thank you very much. Well, fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, today we are doing really good. Despite of all the glitches with the Zoom link and everything, we managed to be here on time and start the meeting on time. Well done, Roseburg speaker and storytellers and all the family members. I need to put that, family members. Congratulations, Yasmin. You are leading the very good start, tongue twist, and even me become your victim. And then the next one for Michelle for doing, including everyone, try to include every one of us here. And the last thing is oh no, this is not the last one. Thank you to all the speaker or table topic speaker for your participation. And last, for my team, my evaluation team, Deja as timer, Stephen as grammarian, and Minnie as counter. Thank you very much. And with this, I would like to give the control back to our Toastmaster of the day, Yasmin. Oh, Yasmin, one more thing. I would like to say, hey, thank you, Toastmaster from Indonesia, Elios and Pak Yusuf. Welcome. Over to you, Yasmin.
Thank you very much, ma'am, General Evaluator. And I see a lot of smiles around. This is the reflection that Toastmaster is the only place where people feel so, with big smiles, and they feel good even after receiving criticism and areas of improvement. So this is the beauty of accepting the feedback. And guys, I haven't forgotten that I promised that you're going to acquire one more skill by tonight, and that's to be a good tongue twister. So loosen up a little bit. I have listened to, am I disappearing? Okay, I'm here. You guys have to loosen up. Loosen up your body, your tongues, your expressions. Come on the camera. Let go the fear, the shyness. Yes, E.T., look at E.T. Let's smile together, because here we have to live. Yay, Jasmine, nice to see you. And others, if you can also switch on your video, please do that, because we want to see everyone when we become very logical, we twist our tongue and we go crazy. When we do this tongue twister one more time together, that's ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. At the count of 3, this time we're gonna do it together. 1, 2, 3.
Ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream.
Ice cream.
That's nice. That's nice. So I'm happy that you all, I remember in the beginning when I asked who is the tongue twister amongst us, is Michelle. But I'm sure throughout the day or in your dreams today, you are going to practice ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. So this is one quality we acquired, to twist our muscles. The second quality we acquired is to do it together, the collective learning. And the third quality we learn is to acquire a new skill with fun, with enjoyment. So we lived what we heard in the beginning, what Ralph Smedley said, that the vision of establishing Toastmaster is to have a platform where we all come and learn together, but we learn it with enjoyment and with fun. So with this, I'm just going to give the meeting back to the president of RSS, who is excited but confused. So here comes the president. It's my absolute delight, massive pleasure to welcome you all yet again for next meeting. I'm sure I'm very happy to see so many guests here. So please everyone accept it. And I'm happy to end the meeting on time, but please stay together because we will be very keen to have a feedback from you, to know how you feel about our meeting and what we can do better. So with this, I'm just gonna adjourn the meeting and stop recording.